Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, today we'll discuss what is development and its types. Okay, types of development. You know, the the formation of whole individual from the zygote, that is known as what development. Uh, in concised terms, we divide the development into two types. One is what? The cellular development. That is what? The development of the sperms and development of ova. And the individual development is the development from the zygote to whole individual. Some embryologists believe that the development even keeps on up to death. So mind it, the development is not only the development from the zygote up to embryo formation or fetus formation. No, it keeps on throughout the life of individual. Okay, development is of two types. One is what? The development is of two types. One is what? The direct development. Direct development. And the other is what? Indirect development. Indirect development. The direct development is that one in which the zygote is formed from the sperm and the ovum and sperm. They fuse together and they form the zygote. Okay, it is 1n. It has half the number of chromosomes. Again, this is 1n, and it is 2n, means it has triplite number of chromosomes. Now, this is what zygote. Now, zygote undergoes the cleavage, and after many cleavages, it forms what? A ball of cells, and that ball of cells is known as what? That's known as morula. What? Morula. And it undergoes the changes and forms what? The blastula. Blastula and morula, these are distinguished how the blastula has the blastocele cavity. This is what? The cavity, blastocele. And this whole structure is known as what? Blastula. This is what? Blastula. Blastula undergoes the gastrulation and forms what? Gastrulation and forms what? Gastrula. A three-layered structure that has the inner endoderm and outer ectoderm and what? The middle mesoderm. Okay, the mesoderms are of two types, and those are what? Let us take this one as the mesoderm. This is ectoderm. Okay, mind it that this is the endoderm. This is mesoderm. This is again mesoderm. This is ectoderm. And this cavity is known as what? Archentron. What? Archentron. So you must distinguish the blastula from gastula by the cavities, the blastocele and what? Archentron. Okay. Endoderm surrounds what? The archentron, and ectoderm is the outermost layer of the cells. As far as the mesoderms are concerned, there are two mesoderms. Somatic mesoderm, that is present outside the cavity, and this cavity is known as what? Coelom. This cavity is known as what? Coelom. This cavity and this cavity. This is what? Coelom. Okay? Coelom. So, coelom or coelomic cavity is lined by an outer side is present the somatic mesoderm. On the inner side is present the splanchnic mesoderm. Okay. Well, this is the development which is known as direct development. It takes place. Direct development takes place in animals in which the individual undergoes all the stages continuously, and an embryo is formed, and then that embryo is either hatched from the ovum in case of birds. Okay. And in case of mammals, that embryo is that becomes fetus, and fetus is given birth. Okay. So that is in case of birds and mammals, that is known as what? The direct development. Should I mention here that blastula is known as blastula, that in case of frog, amphibian. In case of birds, that is a layer of the cells which is present at the animal pole, and that is known as blastodisc or blastoderm. Okay. And in case of mammals, that is known as blastocyst. What? Blastocyst. Okay. I will tell you in some other lecture what is blastocyst and how it is attached with the uterus, etc., etc. Well, today we are going to discuss only about direct development and indirect development in these animals. For example, in frog, okay, amphibian, amphibian, and what? And insects, okay. What happens? The embryos, say here is the egg. From the egg, by hatching, something that comes out, that is known as larva. Okay. The larva is quite different from the adult. The larva can be a caterpillar. Okay. That can be a caterpillar. And that larva undergoes what? Metamorphosis. And that may become what? An insect. Okay, that may become an insect. So here is what? An insect. that insect is quite different from the larva. This is larva. Okay, larva keeps on feeding. And what is the major difference between the larva and the adult? This is adult. What is the difference between larva and the adult? The larva is quite different from the adult, but the major difference is what the presence or absence of gonads, the reproductive structures. In gonads means ovaries and testes. In the larva has no more sex. It has no more gender, and the adult has the gender either male or female. Okay, so this is the major difference between the larva and the adult. In case of amphibian and insects, this happens. Okay, or in amphibian, the tadpole larva is formed. Okay, and in some other animals, tornadial larva is formed, and bipinnaria larva, and so on. So here the caterpillar is formed. Okay, uh, the indirect development in which metamorphosis is present necessarily. Okay, the metamorphosis is of two types. Okay, that is what metamorphosis is again of two types. This is what the whole process in which you see the larva is transformed into what the adult by one metamorphosis. In some cases, the larva is formed, and then a larva is formed, and then a larva is formed. Okay, and then adult is formed. Okay, then adult is formed. This type of the development is known as what? That rather that type of the metamorphosis is known as what? Incomplete metamorphosis. This is complete metamorphosis in which larva is transformed into an adult. That's all. The larva and then larva and then larva and then adult, that is known as incomplete metamorphosis. For example, in in cockroaches, what happens? The indirect development takes place in which metamorphosis, one metamorphosis and second metamorphosis, those larvae are given certain name, for example instar larva and nymph and so and so. Okay, so this is what has been mentioned in the literature by Franz Kafka's. Okay, a German literary person. He has mentioned about how an individual undergoes the backward development, and he becomes a larva, and he thinks about, I shouldn't say he or she, because larva has no more gender, but he has mentioned